Thanks, Maggie. Well, right now we're officially in our severe weather season, and our chances for stronger storms have returned. But with a warmer climate, here's what we can expect in the Stateline. An exponentially warming climate, constantly changing year after year. Severe weather becoming common and frequent. So we're answering the question, what does climate change have to do with an increase in severe storms across the country? And how can we better prepare here in the Midwest?
Climate in and of itself isn't this, this one thing that we can look at. Climate is weather that happens over months, years, and decades, and kind of asking the questions of what's normal and how are patterns changing.
Kelton Halbert, a PhD candidate at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, says it's important to look at how changes and patterns impact trends, because those trends give us the insight we need to predict severe weather.
Looking at what factors cause that to evolve, affecting how climate evolves.
An evolution that we are already seeing the effects of.
We're seeing a lengthening of the severe weather season in all aspects. It starts with sort of an earlier start, but also a later end. I mean, you can have severe storms, right, September, October, November, and if the conditions are favorable, then what you're doing is really lengthening the season.
We spoke to Victor Gensini, a professor of meteorology at Northern Illinois University, about the current trends and how they can impact our weather as our climate keeps warming. He says we can anticipate better conditions to produce stronger storms, something we're already seeing this year.
Two of the most prolific tornado outbreaks last year were in December. December 10th, the Mayfield, Kentucky tornado, but then we also had December 15th in Iowa, which is another big severe weather day in the Midwest. So it starts to beg the question, right, or are these trends that we're seeing, are they already here? Not necessarily, 50 years from now, which is what some of our climate models are showing.
When it comes to what we need for severe storms to develop, there are two crucial ingredients: wind shear and instability. Wind shear is when winds move in different directions at different heights. Instability is like a battery for storms, how much energy is built up in the atmosphere. When those two combine in a warmer climate,
those storms have high likelihood of producing tornadoes and large hail.
Gensini also mentions that we have a likelihood to see more outbreaks and more bigger tornadoes on those severe days in the Midwest. We may even see your typical tornado alley shift further to the east into the Midwest.
If you look through time, the number of F1 and greater tornadoes that we've had in the United States has been stagnant. It has not changed. What has changed is where these tornadoes are occurring. So yeah, the national average might be flat, but if you live in Kansas, your trend actually over the last 40 years has been down. If you live in Rockford or Paducah or Nashville, you've seen a pretty marked increase in the number of tornadoes over the last 40 years. We think a lot of that actually is climate change with the drying out of the Great Plains and sort of, again, more heat and humidity that we're finding further to the east.
With a potentially longer severe weather season, more outbreaks, and even a shift in location of Tornado Alley, climate change may lead to changes in severe weather within our area. Some of these changes we're already seeing. In terms of what we can do moving forward or when severe weather strikes, Gensini has one message.
You might have a plan for fire in your home. You should really have a plan for severe weather. I know it kind of sounds silly and you think it's never going to be you on the news, but it will eventually happen, right? It's a low probability, but these events obviously are extreme.
Having a plan and knowing where your safe space is crucial, especially as our warming climate is bringing changes and potentially more frequent severe weather within the Midwest. As our climate warms, our severe weather season will grow longer with a higher potential for stronger storms and potentially more frequent ones as well.